Okay, I think I'm on. Hello, everyone. No one's here. So it's morning, I know. So hopefully everybody's wake up. Okay. Um, let's talk about Jimmy, huh? Not quite sure what is going on half of the time. So today it's gonna be a long day too. Who knows? Well, it depends. So I mean, if nobody's watching, nobody entertaining the thoughts of, whatever. Yeah, I might just end the stream really, really fast. Who knows? Who knows? All right. So I have my coffee here, some water. I am all set to go. Okay. Okay, let me open this real quick. All right. Okay, so let's get started. I know everybody's gonna be watching this back later. Um, the announcement is in the earnings reports is going to be in 25th. So 10 days. It's gonna be crazy. We'll see how that goes. Of course, this is the highly anticipated one for all of us who's in this company and watching what's happening, right? Now, there's a lot of speculation, obviously my own speculation as well. Being an investor in this company, obviously you have to follow a whole bunch of stuff, including the tinfoil and all that stuff. Now, usually I don't, kind of entertain that much on my show on, tinfoil, and usually it's just for good and fun, not meant for anyone to make any decision based on that at all. Um, but the most important thing is always obviously the fundamental of the company. How much money are they going to bring in this quarter, or this past quarter? I mean, this is the past report. So quarter four, and the reason why it's highly anticipated is because typically Gamestop quarter four do a lot better than any other quarters, right? Because again, Christmas and all that stuff. 40% of our sell comes from that. So yeah, that's why it's so big, right? Now, of course, they could flop too. I mean, you have to kind of give some room for that speculation as well. Whether we're going to be able to beat the top line revenue, which I think we can, and also EPA. I think EPS would be easy shoe in for sure. Okay, so I'm on the main channel here. Now, a lot of excitement for sure. When people are posting a whole bunch of things. Let me start. People are speculating whether this is the reversal based on the price action so far, and of course, what happened with the spike in and spike out, and it's seemingly a signal from someone, right? And of course, the character is Roy and Kitty, obviously, and I'm sure he's still here. He's still watching the company's price action and waiting to see when is the perfect time, and in the meantime, obviously, to try to signaling to see if anybody would bite, type thing, right? Again, I feel like he's trolling the internet and the people that are actually shorting this company and never relent, or he just know the swaps and all that stuff and know exactly when it's going to be unwind, and nobody really could stop it per se, and it's going to be algorithmic. again, this is to save the institutions and all that stuff. So they have to manipulate the price that way because again, it's out of hand. Correct. I mean, currently it's out of hand, and the only way to fix it is to let it rip. Now, of course, that would be the opportunity for retail to sell if you want to sell. Obviously, that depends on where do you think the price point is. Of course, a lot of people have an idea of where it could be. If indeed the MOAS situation is still in play, who knows if that's even possible. But yeah, people breaking down the price over here. As far as me, I don't know. Again, I have my strategy moving forward, obviously. I've been developing this strategy for quite some time. But it's worth reminding people, right? Just in case people forget. I have a portion that I hold would hold until this happened. And now, unless the share price is above this, and I'm pretty adamant about that one for this particular portion of my share, that unless these things come to play, all of it actually. I want all of it, not just one. So currently this one is pretty good already, right? I would take that off, but or put a check mark there. And this one is the one that I'm waiting patiently to see if they're able to do $300 million a year, and I think it's pretty doable realistically for the company to do so. Let's see, and of course this is my for my Roth to kind of accumulate based on the price point right here. This is just the past money raised by selling share at the market value for GME. So there's been 3 times already that they've been diluting, and these are just again a few points here that again could give growth to companies in terms of price, in terms of value, in terms of everything, right? So understand, let me see. Okay, give me 1 second here. I want to check something real quick. See if I'm actually on a line or not. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think I'm on. Yes, good. Okay, back. Now, go back. Yeah, good. So with that though, again, it's just my strategy here. And then I also have a portion that I'm willing to sell. Depends on, the price spike and all that stuff, right? Again, I have some goal, short-term goal here to pay off my cars and pay off some debts here, right? So like my 401k, I took some loan, you guys. So of course that's going to be my priority. So with this price spike for the earnings and all that stuff, it could give me some chunk, and of course whatever leftovers I will be able to do something else short term too. So that's the goal, but these long term, it's going to be there for quite some time. Okay, so with these, of course I haven't uploaded the new ones yet. So this is a pretty old balance sheet here, but so let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the price action. Obviously yesterday was pretty uneventful, but a little perked up towards the end there. It's trading down for quite some time. You see this little I don't know, a bust out move or whatever the algorithm is to try to bring the price down. And this type of pattern I seen quite often, you know, whether it's a algorithm to try to keep the price down. Again, dark pool rerouting, right? So that happens all the time. So that's why, again, fractal and all that stuff, it's fun to look at, but again, you know, it can be very hard to realize completely, or at least time it just right? Now, what I've noticed here is the pattern. Now, this type of pattern, obviously, it can be very, what is it? What's the term? Mind went blank. Arbitrary, you could say that. But, confirmation bias. There you go. It can be very biased because, you know, it assumes all sorts of things, right? Because what happened over here, the company was trading at lesser float than it is today. And so this type of pattern, it may play out, but it could also be condensed. So what I notice is that if you do that, kind of shrink it a little bit, you would see perhaps there might be a pattern here that they will draw out after the earnings. Okay, so as to fake people out. Okay, so the spike that comes, and again, this is tactic. Depends on what happens in the earnings report itself. If GME were to add Bitcoin into their into the balance sheets, of course, this is gonna go. I mean, or it will go after earnings, because oftentimes they would fake people out. This is harder than I think. You know, that type of pattern here. Actually, let me just offset this real quick. Like that. There we go. Again, recency bias, right? Be careful with that type of analysis with fractal and all that stuff, because again, it may not play out that way. But you could see a theme here where it's one day of trading, it would just perked up like that, right? So that's perhaps a sign of reversal. This is what I'm seeing right here, the same exact kind of algorithm to bring the price down. And if you look at from here to here, it's kind of canning too, right? So 28 to 11 or so. I wonder how much drop is that one? Of 55%. 55%. So from here to here, I wonder what it is. 40%. So again, the drop may be a lot. They might be able to bring it down a little bit lower just to scare more people. Maybe around here. Why not? $19. There you go. So with that, I mean, you know, take it as you will. Would make sense, because then they could really buy it at $19 or so. Whether that's gonna happen or not, of course, that's remain to be seen. Monday is a regular trading. I think this whole week is gonna be a regular trading, so not much there. no, I guess there's no delay in that. There's no delay. Sorry, there's no missing day in the week. So that's gonna give people a lot of eyes into the company, and of course, like typically, I'm sure because it's so close to earnings, more and more volume is gonna kick in because you know, highly anticipated one, obviously. Everyone who are traders and volatility traders, and typically they would wait for this type of event to come to act as a catalyst, right? Now, of course, if you are both long and shorts and all that stuff, you could really, have your strategy and all that stuff. And again, I have no idea how that works. Of course, like some people play the straddle or whatever, because no matter what, you're gonna have, whether it's go up or down, just the volatility itself will give you that profit, I guess. Again, that's very speculative, though. Don't do it. Hey, because I can. What's up? Thank you so much for the NFT. It's so cool how you do it. What program do you use for that one? Is it like a automated? What is it? AI generated, or did you do that for yourself? That's cool. It took me. Let me see. The program that I use for my but I do it by hand though. Like I draw it by hand. But I forgot how to do it. Like it's been quite a while, and I don't even know how to access my NFT at this moment. I mint some on the chain, but I have to figure out how to get it back. I'm sure if I Google it, how to see your NFT. The other thing too is that I forgot which wallet I use. I have a lot of wallet, but this one is the Loopring one. Yeah, I have to figure out that. Spend some time. Gibbs and Da Vinci. Oh, okay. Is that the theme of the? That's the program, huh? Not familiar with that one. Cool. All right, so let's see. Trading. Okay, I talked about option, obviously. Now, max pain was 350. So it was closing at under 3 at the third 23. So again, this is pretty common. Anytime there's low volume and all that stuff, it's typically trade kind of close to max pain. Now, again, whether that's designed to be that way, or so that they could cover whatever they need to cover without going bust. That could be speculated as well. Next week, it's a little bit higher. So 24. Of course, there's a lot of spike in betting, on, let me see, 21 days. I think this is the one. Just be aware, I'm sure there's gonna be a volume surge, open interest for weeks to come, because now we know when the actual earnings report's gonna be. So people will jump in to this type of chain, and the 3,000 contract is gonna turn into something else much larger. Now, I look at this chain right here. It's already been spiking up. See that? So I'm sure there's a lot. This is the most popular chain right here that will be built out over time. That's exciting, right? So of course, there's a lot of a scary thought that might, what happened 4 years ago might happen again, like removing the buy button. So just be careful, if you buy into calls when they remove the buy button, obviously, or some sort of other, system halting. That's a very risky endeavor. So, choose your strike price wisely. Preferably closer to the trading value. Of course, you have to pay more, obviously, but you could turn that into share if it's in the money, obviously, if you have the money to, right? So that is the goal, right? To make money from option and then turn it to share immediately. That's what Ron Kitty has been doing, I'm sure, doing pretty well too. So, okay. So let's remind people a little bit here, of course, with the earnings report. I'm sure people forget already that GameStop actually makes money. Okay. Actually profitable. Actually, they're not dying. They're not struggling. They're not grasping for money from anyone, including shareholder. So they have plenty of money, but that doesn't mean they're not gonna raise more cash, right? If the market gives them cash, hands over fist, of course they're gonna raise more cash. So just be prepared for that too. Dilution is also on the table, and I wouldn't mind that at all because again, that's more share equity to be had by the company to do whatever they need to do, whether surviving or thriving in the later date. And currently, obviously, a lot of liquidity is coming into the market. So why not take advantage of that? If the price spike so high and, due to the activity of the traders, momentum traders or whatever, leadership wouldn't, it would be smart of them to take advantage of that again. Oh, okay. Drove team for 51 help me open. Okay, cool. Yeah, I noticed that. This to the I think the Discord channel, right? I recognize this handle here. Cool. All right, so beta seemingly it's still a negative beta here, but not by much though. If the market crash, obviously, this stock tend to go up, but not by much. Of course, again, we speculating that perhaps there's a lot of collateral that is being used to short GameStop that might come down because they might be forced to sell whatever they need to sell in order to buy into GME if they were to use to short GME, right? So that position is existent in somewhere in the ether, but whoever got that short position, they're gonna have to be liable for that. Remember, it's not Gabe's money, right? That's what Ken Griffin said. So, but that's again, that has nothing to do with the fundamental. It's more like market structure and the way that how the market is being allowed to trade in and out, to short, to borrow, to lend. All of that take into play, and also to the creation of ETF in order to cover whatever position they have at the time, temporarily, right? The goal is for them to buy at a later price and then add it back to but typically they don't have the ability to do that. Well, they might change the rule again, who knows? They've been changing rules so many times already, because again, they got caught, and now they have to deal with the consequences, right? But these people, again, because they're so connected, they're not gonna, pay for the consequences, meaningful consequences at all. Unless somebody go to jail, nobody's gonna learn their lesson. Because if you are allowing people to do crime and not, seemingly enforcing the crime, it's not a crime at all, right? Of course, crime pays. And so seemingly, people who have the ability to stop certain things and then still coming out and say, well, this is too big to fail and da 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 da. When you have too big to fail, you're going to always have inequality, because that's not really a capitalism at all. Because capitalism, somebody has to lose. Because again, competition, right? You want to foster competition. The incumbent or the biggest people that have the network shouldn't be able to use the network to suppress innovation. Whatever it is, or change. But yeah, most people don't realize that. And of course, they think that the market is free and fair. And so typically that's why, they don't understand what this company is trying to achieve, at least a small group of people. And again, there's a lot of reason why people buy into this company, right? For me, I know the real reason why I buy into it. It's so many reasons though. But yeah. Anyway, why am I ranting about this? I have no idea. Because I can. Do you have any new information? Anyway. Okay, so let's take a peek at it again. Of course, I'm sure you've seen this a million times, but it's worth reminding people a little bit here on what is the best company ever lived on this place, on this earth, universe. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so we have let's see. So EBITDA. Okay, this is scrap. You don't want to care about this one. This is way too much deduction. Okay, depreciation and amortization. We don't care for this one, because Wall Street like to overvalue something. Okay, and so with GameStop though, we want to be as professional as possible. When we evaluate our company, we under evaluate it. We don't want to overhype anything, because just that value alone, it's amazing already, right? In my opinion, right? Because everything else is so mediocre, you guys. Most companies don't make money, but for some reason, their share price is elevated to the max. Like, again, you could say it's just overvalued altogether. I mean, it's not just me saying it. Warren Buffett has demonstrated that time and time again by action here, okay? Because he sold a couple weeks ago, and what happened since then? And again, like, he's been accumulating cash position for quite some time. You guys have been covering that on and off. Anytime I've noticed it happening. He's famously just said that, he wants to be invested for sure. Most of the cash would be in equity and all that stuff. It's not that his favorite thing is to have cash around, but it's just that this particular time period, everything is just too expensive. And he was saying, with cash, he's preparing for like high tax or whatever. This is what the official explanation as to why, and also too, if he sees something undervalued, worth investing, of course he's gonna invest in that. Of course, had he looked into GameStop, I'm sure he would see the turnaround. But I think GameStop is just too small right now, a small cap right now for Warren Buffett to even think about adding. I'm sure when GameStop is more mature in its balance sheet, even more mature than this, I would guess about 2 more years, Warren Buffett's gonna come into GameStop for sure. Again, like there's nothing else that in the retail sector anyway. I'm making a title video before earnings. Okay, adding all the NFT I made. Okay, cool. 1 minute video. Cool. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I've thought about making like a shorter form video, but I feel like it's hard to elaborate, and people love the short form, and no wonder they don't really understand something, right? And what I'm afraid is that people would take that one short statement and they just run with it, right? And then say, well, you said this, you said that, and then you have to like end up explaining them in the long form anyway. So it's a fine balance for sure, but yeah, people love that, and I'm sure like my channel would take off if I just short explanation, one definition at a time type thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them either because there's so much content in every on YouTube there, so plenty. Anyway, so going back to this value thing here, or EBIT versus EBITDA. EBIT is worth looking at more because again, there's no amortization, depreciation on top of that. So this is an inflated value. This is non-inflated value. So even with this, of course, we are turning positive for the 2 quarters consecutively already. So that's a good sign. Because before that, we've been negative for quite some time. So again, this is the testament of leadership who's trying to be profitable from the standpoint of operational costs and all that stuff. Okay, so the business that has negative EBIT is not a good one to have, and there's no point of having a business like that because the only point for that business is to extract value from a shareholder, publicly traded company, right? That are, getting people to investing in and all that stuff now. Okay, so I want to caution people too on Unity. Okay, of course, Unity has been promoted by Trade, right? Recently, so just take a look at their balance sheets, okay, before you invest in it and thinking that it's the GME 2.0 and bullcrap like that. Look at this, okay? They're not making money, okay? They're not making money. So, of course, that's one of the company, once again, is going to try to attach to GameStop. They're going to pump it, sure. How high, I don't know. But just know that it's not the same as GME. Yes, they have positive cash flow. That might be a sell point that for them to kind of like, well, positive cash flow and all that stuff. But look at the net income, okay? Positive cash flow is great, but if you have net income negative, this is the most important line that you should be looking at, okay? Now, let's see. Revenue's down too. Gross profits, and I'm sure if you look at the goodwill, look, see. Pretty predictable in companies like this. So see the goodwill value right now, $3 billion is close to shareholder equity. So if you were to kind of subtract the goodwill, just the goodwill alone, your shareholder equity is not that much. Okay. So why goodwill is so dangerous? Well, they could have a goodwill impairment one day because the share price has to be above a certain threshold. If it's traded below the threshold, you're going to have an impairment charge. So that's going to push the company a lot lower. So let's look at the forecast. Obviously, look at this atrocity, right? These people, I know, like analysts, right? They get paid or something, perhaps. I have no idea. But these are the type of stock they want retail to buy in. And I don't understand how people could just buy in because of analysts. And they know it works for them. Obviously, that's why they did it. And unsuspectedly, because people just prop it up. I mean, not just people, but the algorithm just prop it up. They just upgraded it and all that stuff. And remember, these type of analysts too, they got paid to do what they do. Okay, allegedly, based on my observation here. Okay, I have no proof, but again, to me, as an analyst, if I am a good analyst, I would not be promoting this type of company at all. Okay, because look at this. Okay, they're not making money. Close to $500 million at the loss, you know? And again, who is the leadership? What is the turnarounds? And why is the price target is so high, right? So to me, in my opinion, they are trying to prop it up because, again, Unity. Remember Unity, the Rowan Kitty's tweet, right? It's one of those offset GME. Again, to mislead people. Okay, so let me see. Let's watch this together. I have not watched this one, but this one was 22 days ago. So let's see what is being said here. Unity is involved with Silver Lake and Iron Source private equity. Of course.
Unity Software turning in a monster move today, closing higher by 30% on a day tech stocks underperformed. The company topping estimates for the quarter, but guidance came in a bit light. Investors and analysts, though, keying in on Unity Vector, a new AI drive within the ad platform. And joining us now in an exclusive interview is Unity CEO Matthew Bromberg. Matthew, welcome. So, yeah, investors clearly excited about Vector and the idea that ads were growing again in Q4. Some of that's seasonal, but I think you also said, customers over $100,000 up to 1,254. Give us a sense of the sustainability of the growth in that growth solutions business.
Hey, thank you guys for having me so much. And maybe for the benefit of your audience, I just note that Unity makes the software that powers a good chunk of the video games you probably know in the world today. We make 70% of the mobile games in the world are built on Unity software. 7 out of 10 of the top AR games, 30% of the PC games. So we're really important to that ecosystem. And what we're really proudest of is that we help creators of content from prototype right through profitability. So from the moment you start to think about the content creation to the time when it comes to bring new users into your game. And to your point, John, yeah, we announced today a Unity Vector, which is a new AI-driven platform that we're going to be using. We hope to create a lot more value for our advertising customers over the long term. And we're pleased that investors were cheered by it.
in context, about, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, there was this weird moment where Unity announced that it was buying Iron Source, and you saw this tools maker combining with this kind of ads and monetization maker. And then AppLovin came in and said, don't do that. We'll buy you, Unity, as long as you drop that deal. And Unity said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go ahead. Meantime, recently, within the past year plus a little bit, AppLovin stock has just taken off. There's been a lot of focus on this ads business and the ability to really monetize data within these ecosystems. What are you bringing to that with Vector? And say more about exactly when investors are going to see this monetization and the rate of it coming through. It won't be that long, it sounds like, from what you're saying.
Yeah, look, I mean, all the history and corporate machinations aside, what's really important here is customers. And video game customers don't distinguish between the need to build great software and then the need to go out and acquire users to create big live services with that software. So these things from a product perspective belong together. And that's what Unity is really all about. It's taking the software that we make that help folks create content and marrying it with the software that helps them acquire users to build businesses around that content. And we're really, really pleased about both parts of our business. Both parts had a really terrific quarter. And again, the launch of Unity Vector for us is a significant investment in a brand new system that we think over the long term is going to create a lot more ROI for our ad customers, and we'll be really, truly able to play out that vision we had of bringing those two parts of the business together.
And certainly investors today embracing that vision that you are laying out. I'm curious about what you're seeing with industry customers, because that business really seems to be growing and reaccelerating in growth again. And I just wonder whether that can maintain itself.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for us, not only because our software is being adopted and received really, really well in the video game industry, but to your point, outside of video games, we're having more and more uptake. That business was up 50% in revenue in the fourth quarter. We've made real inroads in automotive in particular. We recently announced a deal with Toyota where the human-machine interface, the in-dash experience in all Toyotas will be built on top of the Unity software. We've had a lot of penetration in the auto business as well as in retail and manufacturing. So our software, which is really for the creation of any 3D interactive content, is really kind of starting to catch on fire across industries.
I mean, we started here in this conversation with the video game industry. How would you categorize the health of it more broadly, especially since we have seen more competition come into the market and perhaps a more mixed picture, at least as we come through this earnings season with the biggest developers?
Yeah, I spent the vast majority of my career before Unity making video games, and I'm hugely optimistic about the future of the video game business. We were late in the hardware cycle. There were some tough macroeconomic conditions over the last couple of years. I think the video game business is ready to rebound. Historically, we innovate, new devices come into the market, and those things combine to create growth. And I think that's going to happen this year as well.
Cool. So from that segment alone, obviously the tone is very positive. You know, even though, the company doesn't really make much money. Now I know, the stock market is about moving forward, right? You're projecting ahead of time. Whether these AI thing and, something that the leadership is doing new is going to give a better prospect for the company, right? But what I've noticed is that anytime, because Ken was saying that it's a private equity here, because they're in the club, right? Of course, they're promoting their own bag. So that's that's why it's like financial news, like these type of segment are just catering to that at all, to that, right? They're not really, impartial. They're not there to inform you per se. They're just there to prop something up or diminishing something, right? Because again, the same program. I want you to notice when they're talking about GameStop, right? Even though GameStop has make a lot of stride, a lot of improvement, they would never cover it in that light. So yeah, just be aware of those type of segment too, because again, most people who are just got into this company, into GameStop and all that stuff, still have that same narrative of the media kind of spewing. And I can't tell you how deep that psychological, the manipulation is to people's mind about the company itself. But it's very difficult, when you talk about GME to the regular people as if I'm like a genius or something. But I'm just saying to people who normally not knowing anything about GME, typically they would say what the the conventional wisdom that the media usually tells you. Unless you're curious enough to look into it yourself, you're gonna miss out on why the price is this way, why so many people are interested in GME, and not in a cultish type of way. Okay, so Unity Q4 and the full year, showed decline of 25. Q4, wow, drop. I mean, like, it's not much to be desired at all. But the forecast is telling you something else. I mean, look at the operational. They've been losing quite a bit. But I wonder, quarterly. But again, anything AI, right, related, they're really using that to prop up the price. But I wonder if they're gonna try to dilute shareholder if the price were to go higher. See profit margin. Look at that; they're losing so much already. I mean, even though the gross margin is pretty high. I wonder if the let me see. If it's private equity, I'm sure interest payments probably what's killing them. Interest income. Okay, they do have some income there. Hold on. I want to see if there are any debt. Long-term debt. Right here. Long-term asset. Okay. The only thing is the goodwill that I'm seeing here. Intangible asset too. So they not only that they have goodwill, they have other intangible asset as well. So that's even more dangerous right now. Hopefully that tangible asset turns into something more, but that intangible asset is what typically will come and bite you in the end. Retained earning $3.7 billion in negative. So, I mean, for the hope of Unity to make anything, unless the share price goes really high and then they dilute the right time, to get some money. But they have some cash here. But what do they operate, I wonder? Okay, cost of revenue. That's a year. So they could survive 2 more years, I'm sure. But after they run out, hold on, operating. Oh, right here. Sorry. Operating expenses. So less than a year with the cash that they have. Again, assuming that they're not losing this thing. Wait. Am I doing this right? So let me work backward real quick. Hold on. So net income. So this is the true loss. Net income. So they have about 2 years with the cash that they have. If they, assuming that they're losing only, $600 million. 2 years worth of cash. But again, they need to do something to create more net income. If not, either they have to cut down the expenses so fast But they're not going to do that. I don't think they're going to do it. They're just going to continue on with the charade of, trying to lure more people to invest in the company, and then they dilute shareholder that way, right? Or selling their company to some senior notes holder. They're not, yeah. Big quarter four, yes, of course. So that is coming for sure. Jimmy is gonna do well. Like, that's why I'm not really, care too much about it's a slam dunk at this point, in my opinion. But of course, Jimmy has to prove to the world. Obviously, that's gonna be the only burden that Jimmy has to do. But that's a pretty good problem for Jimmy to have, actually, because then it's going to become a new standard of how you measure a company, leadership, and all that stuff. So people just don't see it yet, because this type of leadership is what you want to create the value that you need for the market. Currently, you have a lot of CEOs out there who's pandering to Wall Street, obviously, right? Again, that's why they have guidance and forward guidance, backward guidance, and all that stuff. To do what? Guidance has its downturn, right? Guidance is only serving the people that are, have the ability to make that choice before anyone else, right? And, however you feel about leadership, I just think that, guidance is just a guess, right? What if, nobody could really predict what is going to happen in the future. So it's just a arbitrary way to say that, oh, if you don't give me guidance, I'm gonna, not invest in your company. That's BS. Okay, if you don't want to do that, then that's your loss. If you see a balance sheet that makes sense right now, and you could have your own guidance on something based on what you see on the balance sheet itself. Like, I don't know why it's being promoted as if it's like the end all be all of any type of investment thesis. No. You don't need the guidance. Make your own guidance, right? Just by understanding the balance sheet, that's it. Yeah. I mean, if you see these type of popularity in a stock, and to be able to raise $4 billion when the market cap is only 10 billion? That's massive. No other publicly traded company could do that. I mean, ask Michael Saylor. Ask him. Typically before he got into Bitcoin and all that stuff, right? He had an interview, and he was saying that before he added Bitcoin, if he were to try to raise money, by at the market offering, $250 million just to sell into the market, his stock price would have crashed immediately, right? Now, there's no way to even raise that type of money. And that's only $250 million, you guys. I mean, a good example would be AMC. They were trying to raise a lot of money, but because they don't have the fundamental backing it up, and no real investor were actually buying AMC, it's tough for them to recover. Obviously, it's shrouded with the GME as well, the reputation, right? So that's the only way that AMC was still alive, and till this day. Right? It has nothing to do with the value created by the company, by the leadership at all. And so the guidance thing, no matter how much guidance you think you're going to get from CEO, it would just be an insight that you would like to have, but it's not an end all be all. because the insight could be wrong as well, you know. And who is it provided to, you know, for people to, again, be prepared and all that stuff. But you could do that yourself. You don't need the CEO to tell you where things gonna go. Okay. And again, to me, that's a surprise element that I'm willing to kind of sit it out to. That, you know, this type of management, I feel it adds a lethal effect to it, right? Because you never know what is going to happen. That could be good or bad, right? Depends on the decision of management to do certain things. But to me, you know, with respect of GME leadership, they've been doing the right thing so far, in my mind. You know, and it's been demonstrated based on the balance sheets that I'm seeing, right? Rather than spending money like a drunken sailor, right? Leadership was, you know, I guess, cash piling as much as we can to survive this downturn. And again, I mean, look at how many people are laying off, even till this day. I just saw an article. Who's laying off who? 1,000 worker right now. Hold on, let me see if I could find it. But companies are laying off people like crazy, you guys. And there's a reason for that. And to have leadership who saw this coming 3 years ago, that's immense. That's the leadership that you want. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Because yes, the share price was suffering, but the companies stay healthy, right? And that's what you want. Because if GME were to expand 3 years ago, shareholders would have still pay for the pain, right? And the people that are wanting the shares to go up in price real quick, you're not going to be here anyway, right? You're just wanting to suck the value out of the shareholders, long-term shareholder, investors, in order to make yourself rich at that moment in time. That's it. So, you know, the people that are pulling their hair out, oh, Ryan Cohen doesn't do this or doesn't do that, needs to go, right? And I'm sure Ryan Cohen doesn't care if you go. Like, go ahead, don't buy the company. This is what you are and how you are, right? And so he doesn't care to cater to short-term minded people at all. You know, Roy Kitty is amazing at his own right. Yes, he's an amazing trader for sure. But, you know, to do that, you have to be as dedicated as well. Now he's a hybrid, you know, he's a deep value person, meaning that he would find companies that has, you know, some sort of value, some sort of catalyst, some sort of, you know, edge, you know. And the edge was the fact that it was shorted over than the actual company existent. So that's why it was so valuable at that time. Now this time it's going to be a different type of value. This time it's going to be fundamental. So, you know, when people are telling you it's not based on fundamental and all that stuff, that could be true, because sometimes people are just, you know, ahead of themselves. They think that, you know, the company is more valuable than it actually is. And then they bet it up, right? But that's because people don't realize the structure of the, you know, how the stock price is being traded and how the order flow and all that stuff is playing a part in that too. So, and again, that's why the price is so psychological, to try to get you to lose in the end. So it's designed to take money from you as much as they can. That's why Warren Buffett doesn't care about trading, you guys. It's just read the balance sheet. If it makes sense, if it's undervalued, he's going to buy it and then hold for whatever, right? And typically, if the company could survive the downturn, the ebbs and flows, and could survive, even Peter Lynch too, right? Talked about how important it is for you to know what you own. And so that way, the price action is not gonna give you a heart attack. If on Monday it trades at $200, is that sufficient for you? Type thing, right? Of course, I come up with an unrealistic price point too, but because I think MOAS is a thing. Okay, will it play out like that? I mean, if it doesn't, I wouldn't be mad either, right? And so I'm in here for the long haul. And so with that attitude, whatever comes up first, yeah, I'll be happy if it's $1,000. But if it's slow, drawn out growth as well, I wouldn't be mad either, right? Because again, the growth is layered. GME could go into anything. The NFT, one layer. The Bitcoin buying is another layer. Okay. And then the prospect of GME becoming the number one retail in gaming and collectible space, that's another layer, right? So this is decades worth of, compound growing type thing. And so in that sense, I feel like I don't lose every time I buy into this company, right? And so with that thought, though, it just removes a lot of stress out of the equation, to try to time it just right. You're never going to time it just right, really, So just be happy to see that GME is, that you are able to buy GME at this price point right now. Of course, I in my opinion, it's a very undervalued stock right now. But if you listen to these analysts over here, forecast, the only one analyst that's willing to give anything, $10 still. You see what I mean? I've been covering this company for quite some time, and they still, nah, really? There's no like intellectual thoughts process into, these type of at all, right? It's like sell order. And the media use this type of thing too. They still using this to try to steer people away from it. Obviously, now it's so obvious to me, but unfortunately, to the people that are new to the company, they may not even care about this because again, they believe in the conventional wisdom of the market. Okay, they think that they are listening to the intelligent people over here, even though these intelligent people are trying to mislead them. It's a very, very hard, it's very hard for me to convince people otherwise, but they'll find out in due time, in that case, I'm just feeling like, okay, at some point I'm going to be so tiring to tell people about GME at this point. Not because of the company itself, but because it's just, hitting a wall. It's like talking to a wall sometimes when I talk to people about GameStop. It really doesn't register with them. But yeah, so this is why I think it's a very high reward, high conviction stock for me, and great opportunity too. Because when the masses doesn't see this, and it's so obvious to me that this company is going to do well, that is going to suppress the price because not everybody agree with you yet. And this type of stock is that's why it gives you so much reward when people realizing it. And when they realize it, it's all at once type thing, right? again, people are followers by nature. You follow other people, and it takes a lot for people to be convinced, and a long time. So that's the challenge that GME, board of director, leadership has to go through. That's why it seemingly it's like it's forever, right? It's been 4 years already since the removal buy button, and people seems to forget. And this is what they want people to do, is to forget about this company, right? But again, there's a handful of us out here who really believe in the company and have never left, never sold, right? So, and how many of those gonna be left when the price is going? It's like, I guarantee you, most people will sell at a certain point, at $150, not many people will hold to 1,000. Okay. So, but again, for people to part with their shares, obviously market maker has to bring the price to the level in which people are willing to sell. Okay. So that's why you don't see any volume coming in, because people are not willing to, put that volume into the market to sell. I mean, logically, right? But yeah. Anywho, okay, so what am I seeing here? I saw earlier DTCC was sending out a letter. Maybe I should DTCC. Something to do with the system preparing. I have to look at it later, but I should have. Wait, hold on. No, I don't have it. Shoot. There was a letter to the SEC. Was it on Friday? I think. Oh, this one right here. Something to do with. I guess I could leave you a. Preparing for system disruption. So again, are they preparing for something? But yeah, I'll put this on my description later, so you guys could take a look at it, or just go to the. Oh, clicking the wrong thing. Sorry. Just go to their page itself. So Google it or exit or whatever. It's on there. But it's just give you the idea they're preparing for something here. Is it GameStop related? I don't know. I think everything is related to GameStop. Okay. Yes, the world revolves around GameStop. Okay, so be careful. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here at all. Okay. Hello. You're early today. Yes. I've been here an hour already, you guys. Typically Saturday I don't have anything to do, so I like to get my thought in early and all that stuff. So yeah. And plus, during the day, it's a weekday. It's hard for me to, be on, and because by the time I get home, work and all that stuff, just feel so tired. I don't know how Morantz does it, honestly. Like, that's why I admire this guy so much. Like, how is he able to just bam, 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 and then hours on end, right? It's a lot tougher than you think, you guys. Like, if you come out here, talk live and all that stuff. So I'm trying my best, but my thought usually is very scattered everywhere. I don't do too good of a job to explain something. But I'm learning. I'm learning. I appreciate all of you coming in to kind of listen to nonsense anyway. Usually it's just a free flow of thoughts that I have about, a state of this company. And typically, that's occupied most of my thoughts. It's like, I wonder, if Jimmy would be able to do this and this and this. Not much life going on here, you guys. Not much. Just go to work, come home, eat, Gamestop. That's it. Right? And crypto, obviously. So some of the crypto. All right. So this would be a good segue. I know I'm not gonna talk about Jimmy at the moment. So if you want to part way, you can. I'm gonna focus on move on to Ripple. I know I don't have my the title. It's not even it's just a quick peek. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I don't have anything prepared, honestly. So now RLUSD is a stable coin, and it's been talked about quite a bit on whether the legislation is trying to figure out how to make this happen. Of course, the Trump administration has been, talked about it with the summit. I know, people were like, oh, they're not really buying into the stockpile or, adding to the stockpile. No, they didn't say that. They just said they're not going to use additional taxpayer to do that. They're going to try to find other ways, okay, to buy into it, or at least accumulate Bitcoin or, whatever Trump was saying at the time. Sorry. So, Ripple is setting up to be the top, stablecoin issuer. Okay. And from what I know about Ripple, they're pretty transparent in terms of, the reserves and, how much they actually have in reserve whenever they, put out money in circulation. Okay. So it's backed by something, 1-to-1. And it's over reserved too. It's like it's 7% more. So they have more cash than the token that is being, out there. Tether did it differently. I'm sure they have their own way of, reserving the dollar. But typically they buy U.S. Treasury bond and then they print that way. So just a different mechanism to back up their reserves here. So currently, it's inching slowly. I know this doesn't seem much in the grand scheme of like trillions of dollars here, right? But I've seen it coming from, $30 million to now $140 million in circulation right now. And so fully diluted, obviously, market cap. Again, this is just stablecoin from Ripple, which is the company that kind of use XRP ledger to, facilitate a transaction here for the banks. So that's just one use case for the XRP ledger that could be used right now. And of course, Ripple have their own custody and all that stuff to, bring institution into the blockchain here. So that company is actually going to SoftBank or something like that. That was the investor in that company. So if you want to do your own research on that, feel free to do so. Of course, like I'm just doing my own research here. I might be short and briefly because I want you to kind of take a look at it yourself, right? I might be wrong at my analysis and all that stuff. So I'm just here to kind of expose you to something that I've been exposed to. I mean, you could say self-serving in that sense because I'm just talking up my own bag here. Okay, so pretty biased in that sense. So I want you to come up with the opposition for yourself. I think it's only fair, right? And again, I'm not telling you to buy into anything. This is a stable coin. So if you think that it's like a cryptocurrency, no, it's not the same thing. This is just pegged 1-to-1 so that people could convert fiat currency into this so that they could buy into use that RLUSD to do something else on chain. Okay, whether you want to buy Bitcoin with it or buy whatever with it, you can do that. But the whole idea about stable coin is to provide liquidity to the chain in order to, they're setting up for a digital world over here. So you need to educate yourself on that. And it seems like that's the push. And if you don't, then you might be left behind because the economy is going to kind of accelerate so quick. And so you have about 10 years to learn. And if you're not, well versed in that region, I don't think you're going to set up yourself for success here. Not to say, it's going to open up a lot of more opportunity to do business and all that stuff in that arena. And if you're not understanding the system, how it's being built and trying to build from now on, you might not understand why certain things is higher price, than other, and why seemingly this company is. I was told that this company is doing well. Why is it not? Right? Well, because you don't read the balance sheet or understand the structure of how it's being structured. So, and again, this is the foundation for sure. I feel the Ripple as a company, they're trying to do something, which is to use blockchain, as a liquidity pool to provide a more kind of dynamic way of transferring value from one another. So since it's global, right, it's plugged into every facet. I mean, if you look at the Ripple app, and hold on 1 second, give me 1 second. I want to see the website here. Oh, parody. I don't know. Welcome to the show. Okay, so this is Ripple app, and what this is, just giving you an idea of what the spec for the XRP ledger, and this is the selling point over here. It's going to be fast, going to be reliable. FX market, obviously, that's what they're aiming to solve. That you could really provide that quick and safe way to transfer money from one another. And it's pretty simple. Like, I mean, if you look at a lot of banks, a partnership here, you could see tons. And again, whether you hate blockchain or you don't understand blockchain, this is why you should understand it, because it's coming. Like neobank and digital. I think that's the not that one. There's a bank that I talked about before, but yeah. So it's global. This is Thailand. A whole bunch of Saudi Arabia. So they've been building for quite some time, you guys. So if you don't pay attention to that, of course, that's why people don't realize how valuable XRP is. Of course, those type of price point can be inflated as well, because people don't understand like how it's being built. But to me, the price point really doesn't. You're not gonna see the price point, the real value yet, until everybody is using it, right? Currently, right now, you just Ripple is the one that is using XRP, but more and more people are coming into XRP Ledger now. That I think is going to take the capitalization of Ethereum. So that's why it's going to be number 2. And of course, there's speculation too that XRP is going to take over Bitcoin as well, but that might be another cycle, you guys. So just be aware of that. Not to say, of course, there's a lot of estimation coming in because of the institutional coming into blockchain. They're going to start with Bitcoin for sure. And so Bitcoin's going to be $10 trillion, right? Competing with gold for now. And then the next cycle is going to be, I think, XRP turn, right? Because by then you're going to have a lot of people building on the blockchain. And I mean, GME technically could build their NFT marketplace on XRP Ledger as well, which is much cheaper than Loopring. Even Loopring, yes. Because Loopring is a lot cheaper than layer 1, layer 2, and all that stuff. Now, XRP is a native. You don't need layer 2 at all. You could just build it on layer 1. And then you might be thinking, well, if it's so useful, why didn't anyone build on it? Well, the reason why was because of the regulation. They were directly implicated in the SEC lawsuit. So any businesses who built on XRP at the time, the reason why people didn't want to build on XRP is because it has no clarity at the time. And Ethereum did have that clarity. So that's why they were building on Ethereum, spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build on Ethereum. So it was unfair, treated. XRP could have, been number 2 already if the SEC didn't come after them directly. So again, unfair, right? Unfair, just. And again, this is why I love XRP, and I love, not love, but I see the potential in XRP. Because when the lawsuits at this scale, right? Why, right? And not only that, they have come victor at the end too. So, this type of thing is not to be understated, you guys, because it's important, right? And this type of thing is going to set precedent for at least, it's time for XRP to shine at this moment in time. So now, it's up to the ledger itself to withstand the volume, coming in. So that's remained to be seen. Obviously, it hasn't, it hasn't been used to its capacity yet. So that's what I'm waiting for. That massive adoption. People are interacting with the ledger, just like how people interacted with, Ethereum. network. But with this one, it's going to be a lot faster and a lot more people eager to use XRP, or at least use the ledger itself. And because, well, why would XRP be increasing in price? Well, that depends on how many people actually will build on the infrastructure itself, or the rail, so to speak. Yeah, so that's the value created. Of course, like Bitcoin is a different type of value created because of the scarcity and, you know, non-inflationary. Because you can't print more Bitcoin. That's what I'm trying to say. With the XRP, though, it's more utility based, right? Network based as well. So, and combining how useful it is to settled instantly, right? You don't need so much a third party risk type thing, right? Of course, that's a lot of responsibility, you know, in making sure that you're not, you know, getting hacked and all that stuff. So most people won't like that. So that's why, again, bank exists, is because people don't want to be responsible for their own, you know, their own money. Because it's easily hacked, right? Now, that's why Ripple exists too, because institutions don't want, you know, to like learn about blockchain and all that stuff. They only want to use it. If it's useful, people are going to use it. Just like how email, right? Like you don't necessarily care where, how many times you send the email or how the email is being sent from one place to another, right? The email protocol is working at the background, right? I mean, before email, you have to send it through a horse and buggy, right? So it takes some time. But with email, you know, right now, people just send email willy-nilly, right? Tens emails a day, hundreds of emails a day. And so the reason being is that because it's so easy, fast, and reliable, that when I click send, I'm sure that somebody's going to receive it on the other end. So much the same way with you know, transfer of value with XRP ledger, right? So now you have a way to do it cheaper and faster, and easily accessible. So the next business, if you want, like, very well versed on that, is to figure out how to make it easy for you know, layman people. And what I'm hoping is that GME is going to be at the forefront of that. But again, that's more technical, like more highly. I mean, we have the money to build those type of thing, for sure. But you know, whether Ryan Cohen's going to do that, that's another thing. Again, the platform is what give this type of company, Ripple, value. Okay, but Ripple use XRP ledger to do those things, real time border payment. But keep in mind, this is a privately owned company. Okay, not private equity, just privately owned, and they don't own the ledger itself. They just own this company that use that ledger to do its thing, to do, you know, the back end. But the end customer would be able to, you know, transfer, you know, different currency, just like it says right here. They're targeting FX market, foreign exchange. Okay. So, yeah. And think about like the global, you know, the global reach for this type of thing. It's massive, you guys. Like, if it costs less, of course, people are going to use more of it. And the more people use XRP is going to be burnt. So that's another thing I was going to tell you guys here. So I've been tracking this. Now, the burn rate hasn't been accelerated as I expected it to. Not quite sure why. Perhaps they're just, Ripple is the only one that use it, perhaps. But if I show you what I have here, so this is what I've been tracking. I got this. I got these data from CoinGecko right here. So I'm tracking this supply right here over time, and this is what you see here. I've been tracking since last year, and it's been only 3 months, close to 3 months here that I've tracked. And what I've noticed here is that this is the amount of burnt so far. So since the time I tracked it, it's only been about half a million XRP being burned so far. And this is daily, not daily, from this time period to this time period. It's only been burned this much. So that's how I calculate it. So technically you don't have to worry about this one. But this is what this is how you read it. In 80 days since I tracked it, 88 days, 500,000 or so of XRP is being burnt. So that's what you see there. So that's not by much, right? And so if you do the math there, okay, let me try to do the math here. How many XRP is being burned daily? You would just divide it by 88. So 5,000 or so is being burned daily. Okay, on average. Of course, like some days is a lot more, but on average it's only say 6,000 or so. Just round it up for good measure. But yeah, so that's what I was. What I'm trying to figure out is how long will you be able to burn enough to be worth what Bitcoin is? That's going to be a long time. So the rate of burn has to increase. And what I want to kind of keep track too is the more people building on it, whether it's going to accelerate the burn rate or not. So until then I'll know the value of XRP. In my own mind, obviously there might be other metric too, the hype and all that stuff. But I'm interested in the value of it myself. So but with Bitcoin, obviously it's more to do with it's not deflationary, so you can't take Bitcoin out of supply. The deflationary effect that comes from Bitcoin is only when people are losing their keys. So technically it could be deflationary, because if people lose their key, right, they would lose it forever. I'm sure you've heard about the article of some guy who didn't know that Bitcoin was going to be so expensive. 10, 15 years ago, he was mining Bitcoin, but then it was on a laptop, and that laptop has like hundreds of millions of dollars now, because back then it was like a couple $100, right? So those type of things gonna continue with Bitcoin, obviously, if so that's why it's like deflationary. But with this one, it's due to the network usage. There you go. I think that's all I have, you guys. Not much there. I feel like I'm pooped out at the moment. Okay. With this, obviously be careful. I know with the enthusiastic of altcoin season and all that stuff, people are going to try to promote you, all sorts of things. Just be careful on that. That's why I'm only focused on the fundamental coins that I know. It's a lot of real world use cases. That's why XRP is one of my big one. XLM is one of my big one. I have some Loopbrink and all that stuff just to from way back when I have my when I was involved when GME got into it, right? So only a small portion though, you guys. So what else do I have? I sold Bonk. Not with a gain though, because when it comes down, I feel like it's gonna come down harsh. Let's see, what else do I have? I have a couple of other things, but not very much in terms of like percentage wise. But the majority is for sure in XRP. What else? I think that's all I have, you guys. Like I said, I'm pooped out. I should be eating before I come in, so I have more energy to talk about some stuff. But I didn't eat this time, so. Okay. All right, guys. I will let you go. Thank you so much for joining in.